Yesterday, the United States Supreme Court handed down a decision basically telling the Environmental Protection Agency that you do not have any real authority. Specifically, the Supreme Court says that the EPA does not actually have the authority to tell coal-fired power plants how much carbon they can pump out into the atmosphere under the Clean Air Act. Because, as Justice John Roberts said, it's just not plausible that Congress wanted you to have this authority. Here is, in his own words from the ruling, what Chief Justice John Roberts had to say. Capping carbon dioxide emissions at a level that would force a nationwide transition away from the use of coal to generate electricity may be a sensible, quote, solution to the crisis of the day. But it is not plausible that Congress gave EPA the authority to adopt on its own such a regulatory scheme. Except, of course, that Congress did, via the Clean Air Act, specifically give the EPA the authority to do this, as the Supreme Court on 2 separate occasions has ruled. Like, even while Roberts was on that court said the EPA does have the power to do this, and now he's saying the EPA does not have the power to do this because it's not explicitly written in the law that the EPA can do that specific thing. Now, I don't think there's anybody watching this that doesn't understand how badly this is going to affect our environment. People will die because of this decision. Because of these emissions coming from coal-fired power plants, it's going to lead to more respiratory distress, it's going to lead to more heart disease, it's going to kill people. That's what the Supreme Court just did. They handed down a death sentence to a bunch of anonymous Americans who don't even know it yet. And of course, we have the accumulation of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. The United States is the second largest emitter of carbon on the planet, and that's not going to change anytime soon thanks to this ruling. We all understand that. But what I think people are missing about this story, obviously the environmental impact's number one, but number two, this ruling is going to be used against every single regulatory body in this country. If they do not, specifically written in legislation, have the authority to do a specific action, whether it's the FDA, whether it's OSHA, whether it's the SEC, it doesn't matter. They can now be challenged on their regulatory authority by people who simply don't want to be regulated. And they can go and use this exact same argument that the Supreme Court just put forward, saying, hey, OSHA doesn't actually have the specific authority to say that we have to give construction workers hard hats, or to say that, we don't have to protect people, from having faulty railings and then they fall down the stairs. Really, it doesn't say we have to do that. So, we don't have to take care of worker safety anymore. Oh, the SEC, it doesn't specifically say that they can investigate Wall Streeters for this specific crime. So, under the Supreme Court's logic, they wouldn't have the authority to do so. That is the real danger from this ruling. Not just the effects that it's going to have on our environment, but the effects that it is going to have on every single regulatory body here in the United States, thus fulfilling yet another right-wing dream of having absolutely zero federal regulations and allowing corporations to do whatever the hell they want to us without any fear of reprisal. This is Hattie. Hattie wants to know why you have not subscribed to our channel. You obviously like our videos, so do us a favor and subscribe.